What if I told you that more than 75% of students who fails to gain admission into the higher institution of learning is not actually due to their grades, but due to the fact that they lack access to the right kind of information? In this video, I'll be sharing with you all that you need to know about gaining admission into the higher institution of learning. So sit back and let's get started. Hello guys, my name is Shegun Daniel Adekeye. I welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this channel, I make educational and personal development videos that helps to improve our overall effectiveness even as a student, young scholar or professional. And in today's video, I'll be talking about all you need to know to gain admission to the higher institution of learning. The first aspect I'll be talking about is the Central Admission Processing System of Jamb, popularly known as Jamb CAPS. This is one thing that you should be well aware of if you want to gain admission into the higher institution of learning. I want to believe by now you must have written the UTME examination, that's the Universal Tertiary Matriculation Examination, which is important for anyone that wants to gain admission into the higher institution of learning. Now, you must also note that the Jamb has centralized the admission process in such a way that to get admitted to any higher institution, you must receive your admission notification directly from the Jamb portal, and this is where the CAPS comes in. So the CAPS is a system that has been set by Jamb herself to ensure that admission process is regulated all over the higher institutions in Nigeria. And what are the things that you need to take note of? First of all, you must ensure that you correctly upload your O-level results on the Jamb CAPS portal. This is one thing that prevents a lot of students from gaining admission. They have the good grades, but they fail to upload their O-level on the Jamb portal. Now, sometimes you can assume that you have done this from the time of registration, but it's important to go back to the Jamb accredited center to check if the O-level has truly been uploaded, and if not, you need to upload your O-level results. Now, another thing that the CAPS ensures is that it ensures that all your information are accurate and they sync together. Take for example the names, the date of birth, and the basic information. So you want to make sure that the names on every of your certificates, your WASC results, your UTME profile, and other things tallies together. This is one of the things that the Jamb CAPS checks. Then another thing that you must take note of is that Jamb itself has the general cutoff mark, which you must have before you can pursue admission into the higher institution. For this particular year, the Jamb cutoff mark has been set to a minimum score of 140. Now, this is also dependent on the institution you are going. The institution you are going also have their own cutoff mark, which is the minimum requirement to gain admission into that institution. Now, the last thing you must take note of concerning the Jamb admission system is that there's usually a course requirement for any course that you might intend to study in the higher institution. So this is not just about writing the exam and getting the good grades. You want to also make sure that you have the right subject combination requirement to study that particular course. This is one thing that prevents a lot of students from getting admission into the institution. So there's something we call the Jamb Brochure, where there's a list of various courses being offered in various institutions, and the O-level subject requirement and the Jamb subject combination requirement that is required to study in that course. So you might want to check it out to be sure that you have the requirement to study that your desired results. Now we're moving to the school admission system. This is also something very important because the school admission system varies from one school to another. It's not the same for every school, and you must understand the school admission system of your preferred choice of institution. Now, basically, I will group the school admission system into three categories. We have the categories of those that usually write the physical post-UTME examination. Then we also have the category of those that usually write post-UTME examination but this time not physical. It's an online post-UTME examination. Then we also have the third categories that doesn't even write post-UTME examinations. They just do online screening and then you get the admission. Now we have various institutions. Take for example an institution like Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. There is an institution that you have to travel down to the school to write the physical post-UTME examination. It's the same thing for other universities like UNILORIN, like UI. It is important that you must be physically available for a post-UTME examination. And mind you, this post-UTME examination is as important as the Jamb examination itself, because at the long run, an aggregate score will be calculated both from your UTME score and your post-UTME score, and then that aggregate score is what determines whether you are going to be admitted or not. So I usually advise students to make sure to check that's your preferred choice of institution. You have to know, do they write post-UTME or not? If they write post-UTME, then this might be the right time to start preparing for the post-UTME. Just forget about whatever you might have scored in the UTME examination. Go back to your book and start reading and preparing actively for the examination. Also, in subsequent videos, I will be talking specifically on the admission system of specific schools. But then the second category of universities are those that write the online post-UTME examination. A very good example of such institution is the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife. They write post-UTME examination, but this is an examination that you can write even from the comfort of your home or any CBT center that is close to your area of residence. So this is different from those that needs you to be physically available for the examination. And then the last category of the school admission system is the category of institutions that does not require a post-UTME examination. All you have to do is to what? Sit down for, register online for their screening procedure and then await your admission. That's all you have to do. Now, some schools use aggregate scores by combining the Jamb and post-UTME score. I mentioned likes of Ahmadu Bello University and University of Ibadan, popularly known as UI. While some other schools makes use of the Jamb score, the post-UTME score, and together with a score that is being calculated from the O level. This is one thing that the Obafemi University does a lot. The same thing for UNILORIN. So there's a grading system for the O-level results. So they're able to calculate your points from your 5 compulsory subjects and join it together with your UTME score and your post-UTME score to come up with your screening aggregate. While other universities that doesn't use the post-UTME will simply use your Jamb score and your O-level screening score alone. So this is one thing you have to know. So you have to really check which of these system does your preferred choice of institution makes use of. So when you have a knowledge of this, you will be able to even assess yourself ahead and know your chances of getting admission into that institution. The next thing I would like to talk about is the general cutoff mark and the departmental cutoff mark. Like I said earlier, every institution has their cutoff mark, and it varies from one institution to another. For example, the cutoff mark for Ahmadu Bello University is 180. The cutoff mark for likes of UI, OAU is 200. And then we have some other institutions that their cutoff mark is as low as 160, 170, 150, as the case may be. So you must also check for the general cutoff mark of your institution. Now, this general cutoff mark is what will determine whether you are generally eligible to process admission into that particular institution. Now, this doesn't guarantee that you are going to be admitted, but only makes you qualified to process admission into that institution. So there's another thing that we call the departmental cutoff mark, which is the cutoff mark for each department. Now, some schools usually bring out the departmental cutoff mark before the post-UTME examination, while some other schools usually bring out the departmental cutoff mark most times after the post-UTME examination. So schools like OAU, like UNILAG, like UI tends to bring out their departmental cutoff mark after the post-UTME examination. So the advice I can give to students that have chosen the institution where the departmental cutoff is usually released after the post-UTME exam is that they should try and check for the cutoff marks in previous years. So schools like UI, schools like Unilag, OAU, students can go ahead to check the departmental cutoff marks in the previous years. Now, this will give you an insight into what you are preparing for and what you should be expecting for this year. So you can easily do the calculations, check your UTME score, and then you know how much score you need to meet up to that cutoff mark. Now, you can also want to increase that cutoff mark with few points to allow for any sudden increase in the cutoff mark in this year. So this way you will know how to prepare or how much preparation you need to do towards the post-UTME examination. Now, the next thing I'll be talking about is the catchment area and the ELDS. There's something called catchment area and there's also something called ELDS. So this is actually it. Probably you might have had it before. You might have heard of merit admission, catchment area admission, then ELDS admission. Let me start from ELDS. ELDS means educationally less developed states. So there are certain states that has been considered to be less developed when it comes to the aspect of education. So because of that, these states are usually given a little bit of advantage or preference when it comes to admission process of some institutions. Now, these ELDS states include most of the states from the northern part of the country. And then to catchment area now, catchment area simply means states that are close to the location of the institution. Take for example, an institution like Obafemi Awolowo University, their catchment area includes states around them, states like Lagos, like Osun State, like Kwara State, and the likes. So apart from the merit admission, there's also a cutoff mark that is usually for the catchment area, and there's also a cutoff mark that is usually for the ELDS area. So it can be an advantage if probably you are from one of these states. You can do well to check the catchment area for your preferred choice of institution and also the list of the ELDS states. You can find it online. So this will give you an insight to whether you have an advantage in these aspects. So this can help you to also know your chances for getting admitted. And of course, for some other institutions in the northern part of the country, take for example, institutions like the Ahmadu Bello University, they make use of the catchment admission more than the merit admission because they believe that the admission for a particular year should be well distributed over the 36 states of the country. So there's usually a particular quota that belongs to each state. So which means if you are presenting admission to this kind of institutions, you are actually not competing to be the best. You are only competing to be the best from your state. So your region of competition is just within your state. You are only competing for the space, the quota that has been given to your state or your local government area. So which means it's possible for someone that comes from probably one of the less developed northern states to gain the admission even with a lower aggregate score before someone that comes from probably one of the well-developed educational states with a high aggregate score. So this is also one thing that you need to take notes of. Then lastly, you should also know that there are also alternative routes to gaining admission into the higher institution of learning. We have routes like the remedial studies. Some schools call it the pre-degree program or the remedial studies, which is usually about 8 months or thereabouts, where you get to be taught even by the administration of that school themselves, and you get to write examination to gain admission into the 100 level class. Then there's another route called the basic studies. That's the likes of IGMB and JUPEB. This is also a very good route that students make use of to gain admission into the institution of learning. So for this category of students, all you just have to do is to pick up what we call the direct entry form. at the Jamb office. So with this direct entry form, you are able to enroll for IGMB or JUPEB. There are certain schools that have their own organized JUPEB or IGMB programs, and then there are also private institutions that also organize JUPEB or IGMB programs. You can enroll for this, and once you're able to hit a very good point, it's also a good route. And this time around, it helps you to gain admission directly into 200 level. So it's usually about 11 months or thereabouts program, and you gain admission directly into the 200 level class. As I come to the end of this video, I want to encourage you to like this video if you have learned one thing or the other, and also do well to share it to your loved ones that might need it, your co-aspirants, your friends, and others that might need this video. And make sure you like the video, please, so that YouTube can also recommend it to others that might benefit from it. And then you can as well go to the comment section now and drop a comment of the institution that you want me to do a more elaborate explanation concerning their admission process. Go to the comment section now, drop the institution that you want me to discuss more on their admission process. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do well to subscribe and also click the notification button so that you can get notification whenever we drop a new video. So this is what we're calling it a day. Once again, my name is Daniel Adekeye, and I'm happy that you have come to the end of this video. So till the next video, cheers to continuous learning and growth.